Hi, Redeemer family. A few weeks ago on Instagram, I shot a video and I asked you to pray because God was growing our church and we needed more pastors. And so today I want to introduce you to one of the answers to your prayers. This is Tim Anderson, and he's going to be joining our team, and I want you to get to know him because if you're a member at Redeemer Bible Church, you're going to get to know him very well. I'm incredibly excited and very humbled that God would bring a man of Tim's caliber to our team. And so I want you to meet him now. And so Tim, tell me about you. Tell me about yourself.
Well, born and raised in Southern California, which seems to be a prerequisite for employment.
That's right, here.
Big Catholic family. I have 7 kids. I'm one of 6 boys. My poor sister, we pray for all the time. Had this idyllic, happy Southern California beach, baseball, Americana kind of existence.
Yeah.
And then in the mid-'60s, my parents decided to move to Oregon because my dad's a bit of a hunter, fisherman. None of his kids are doing it with him. We feel bad for that. So we moved to Oregon, spent the next 25 years there. I think the best way to describe my life is baseball and church, and sometimes interchangeably between the two. So my parents are still alive, 92 and 90, and we just have this pretty great family thing going on here that I feel really blessed. And so I've always had this deep sense of family. I've been married 43 years to the same woman. I have 4 kids, 12 grandkids, and they're just the love of my life. So I feel really kind of ridiculously blessed that I've had this life that, none of us deserve it, but I feel like extra level of he's been so gracious to me. Yeah. So in this new endeavor just falls in line with that. I feel overwhelmed a little bit.
So in your mid-40s, you shifted into doing pastoral ministry, but what kind of work did you do before that?
A lot of odds and ends, inventory stuff, business development, a lot of small company kind of things, kind of a do-all. I graduated from Oregon State. I got a shout-out to the Beavers. In physical education, I'm a coach. That's what I wanted to do with a minor in history. So I think that's been my life, is coaching in some way, shape, or form. At some point, I thought it was kind of a degree that was not utilized, but I now realize that's all I've been doing. That's right. So in my 40s, my son decided to church plant, 25-year-old guy, and living in our house, which is like the natural formula for success. And so we became part of it. And I had a job, and with God's blessing, I lost that job. I got laid off, and it was in the middle of the real estate crisis. So we had a house to sell. Not crisis, we benefited from that. And so I took a year where I was going to reinvent myself. I was 48, 49. I thought I have some money, set it aside, and spent a whole year trying to figure out what to do with my life. And I had all these visions of grandeur, and I was going to do something. The kids were gone. I was free. So I spent a year at that church and literally got down. I set aside some money, got down to my last $5, and stood in that church and said, ridiculously, as I look back, like, I need to be in a small church and I can do a lot of different things. I have a big skill set. Where is that church? And God very gently called me an idiot and said, you're standing in that church. And literally went upstairs and asked my son, or told my son, I need to be the first elder here. And the career was launched. Wow. And just like that, minding my own business, he just took me to a place I had no idea I needed to be. Yeah. And sort of the add to that thing, I was an athlete, hard to believe looking at me now, but I was an athlete. And God literally took away my ability to move my hands. My wife had to button my shirt. I couldn't get out of bed. He stopped me physically in my tracks to say, are you done? And those are the words I heard, are you done? Will you let me do what I need to do with you at this moment? And luckily there was a church and a place, and the rest is history.
And so your son planted Praxis Church in the mid-2000s, right?
Yes.
In the mid-2000s, which became Redemption Tempe, right? And so you were there for how long?
16 years.
16 years, and what did you do on staff there?
Well, it initially started with mowing the lawn and answering the mail, but eventually they realized as the older person they had no one to talk to the people, to shepherd them. So that was my natural bent, and so I became counselor, mentor, shepherd, and that's what I've been doing for the last 16 years. And in reality, the last 40 years, I was the guy hanging over the cubicle asking somebody how they were doing. So it was a natural gift set that I just never turned into a paying gig, if you will.
Yeah.
And so, just because of the age of the church and who I was, that's what it became. So again, God just led me to a place I had no strong sense of it until it happened. It's like, that makes sense.
Yeah, and God really blessed your ministry there, and you love the people there, love the leadership there. It's something that God has really shown himself powerful in your life through the ministry he used you there for. And so it's that word shepherd that is, I think, what really attracted us to you and the ministry that you want to do, and what you're going to do here. So can you... For me, I've told you before, and I've told the guys on our staff, that right under preaching, shepherding is the most important part of ministry for me. I believe that I'm going to be held accountable for what I say in the pulpit. That's James 3:1. And I'm going to be held accountable for the souls of our members. So that's Hebrews 13:17. So those two questions are on a test that can't avoid. And so it's coming. And so for me, shepherding our members has from the very beginning been right under preaching the most important part of what I hope to see here at Redeemer. And so being a 5-year-old church, we obviously haven't been able to do what we've hoped to do in the past, but bringing you on is really something that we believe we can take the next step in that direction. So could you tell us a little bit about what you hope to accomplish?
Well, first and foremost, when you become a member, you're committing to us. And so we need to commit back to you. So in a very simplistic way, I'm just wrapping my arms around the people that have already said we're in, and find out who they are, make connections, see what their needs are, and just identify them. Because churches, can be lonely, and people come and they go, and that can't happen. We have to know who you are, what you need, and know you intimately as much as you allow us to. We're not going to be knocking on your door every day, but we'd like to. We'd like to establish a relationship, a visual relationship, and then something deeper than that. So, and in the midst of COVID, where we've lost track of who's who and what, so as we get out of the fog, I want to be able to see these people and say, we're in. Who are you? And I want to love you and care for you. So it's that simple.
It really is.
It's going to be complicated, but it can be that simple.
The outworking of how to do that, especially with approaching 400 members at this point. But like you said, it's very simple. Shepherding is about leading the people that God has brought to us. It's about teaching them. It's about feeding them. It's about protecting them from wolves. And it's about caring for them. Like, that's really what shepherding is. It's those 4 aspects. And like you said, it's very simple. But the outworking of that can become very complicated. And so that's where I love the fusion of your organizational management, business, numbers background with your shepherd's heart. And I think the fusion of those two things, I'm just super excited to see all that God's going to use us for. So
just be consistent, get in a consistent rhythm with people, and just let them know we're here for them. And those things are already in motion with your prayer Wednesdays and those kind of things. This is just a continuation of something you've already started. So I'm happy to be on that.
So for me, like you really have a very critical ministry for our church, because we really do want to lead, feed, care for, and protect our members. That's really the heartbeat of not just me, but all of our elders. Like, we really want that. And so I just think for the way that God has brought us together, I'm just incredibly excited about the ministry that he's going to use you for here. So.
Me too. Thank you.
Right on. So if there is a way, if someone watching wants to get in touch with you, wants to email you, how would they do that?
Tim at redeemeraz.org.
That's right. Tim at redeemeraz.org. That's great. Well, thank you
simple.
very much.
My pleasure.
Looking forward to this.
Yes. All right.
Right on.